Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's up, folks? JT here with another Chart Talk Live. Hope everybody's doing well. Don't need the soundboard. I don't know why that popped up. Let me get my screen sharing started for Discord. Let me make sure we are live on YouTube. Yep, that looks good to go. Where's my chat window, though? Sorry, let me there we go. YouTube chat squared away, and let's get this screen sharing started. There we go. All right. And one last thing, let me get this copy link. Live stream this up. This. What's up, new trader? Good to see you. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Give folks another minute to filter in here, and then we will get rolling with this morning's stream. Otherwise, new trader, you're about to get a one-on-one mentoring session live. There's the man. What's up, Ryan? Good to see you, aka Sydney. Hope you're doing well. It's going great, man. Hope you're doing well yourself. New trader, keeping it low key. No chat today. All right, let's start digging in here. What's up, Pipfessor? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Good morning to you. Excuse me. Pardon me. Yes, it did. All downside targets hit, and it bounced right from that level. Had a couple of plans that went a little awry, but not a whole lot we can do about that. The market's been a little bit volatile, choppy, and throwing lots of false signals and entries. So that's kind of what we've been seeing lately. What's up, CC? Good to see you. All right, let's dig in. Let's go. What are we seeing here in the markets in general? Then we'll get to our trade plan recaps, and of course we will start working on some new trade plans here live together this morning. So if you all have any ticker requests that you'd like to go ahead and drop in the chat, please feel free to go ahead and start getting those in the chats, whether that's in our Discord channel for the morning live stream or in YouTube. I do have the chat open for that. Keeping an eye on it. Oh, what's up? Oh man, Nita Weta. I'm going to go with Nita Weta over on YouTube. Hope you're doing well. Good morning to you. All right, so let's dig in. Let's go. We've got a request for MSTY. We can take a look at that. That is is that the high yield covered call ETF for MSTR strategy? Yep, we can take a look at least a couple of those. Do you have a personal favorite amongst those there, CC? Let me know. We'll take a look at it. All right, so what are we seeing here in the markets? Well, ES has continued to push over this downtrend, broke above, back tested. It's continued to push higher, but as you can see just by looking at these candles, lots of volatility, lots of chop, just kind of slowly grinding in the upside direction here. Ultimately heading toward the upside price target here at 69.1975. I think that's our next real big test of support, or I'm sorry, next big test of resistance. I was looking at this potential downtrend here as possible support and got my words out faster than I could get through the prior sentence. So let's take a look at this actually. Do we have a nice uptrend sitting down here? It looks like we might. Yeah, right about there. So it continues to ride this uptrend. That uptrend looks like it's still in good shape as long as 68.43.25 is holding strong. So if we lose that, we certainly could see a pullback, possibly back down to 68.12 is where I'd be looking. 200 SMA coming up to that prior all-time high here for ES. So that would be a nice confluence of support for us to test if it does pull back that far. But as long as this is holding, I expect things to kind of continue to make a slow grind to the upside and ultimately go for our price target and that key resistance there at 69.1975. So let's get to some trade plan recaps. We've got NVO, Novo, Nordisk. We did this one last Tuesday. Did try to give a break there pre-market. That break ultimately failed though. Pulled back to the downside. Tried to catch the stop loss average down level. Held it for a little bit along with the 200 SMA. Ultimately lost that. And once it lost that, it was a much deeper pullback. Now we're on the put side of this trade plan and heading toward PT1 down there at 45.75. So keep an eye on NVO to complete that move down to 45.75. As far as likelihood of a bounce there, actually looks like pretty decent support. So we could see NVO try to reverse off that PT1. So I would certainly book some profits, move up your stops, see if it does break below PT1. If it does, it should be a pretty easy and clear shot down to PT2 for puts, taking us down to 44.66. But overall, NVO downside trade plan in effect and heading toward PT1. Apple, like Ryan just pointed out this morning, ultimately, after we did this trade plan, gave us a couple of upside targets, then it pulled back, then it broke down below and got below our put entry level. Tap PT1 for puts, pulled back, gave some sweeps above there and some back testing of the put entry before it did ultimately break down to PT3. Gave us a little bit more than PT3, but ultimately PT3 bouncing now and heading back toward PT1, finding a little bit of resistance there, but things flipping over back to the bullish side here from a momentum perspective, just starting to get some bullish momentum here on the hourly. 200 SMA coming up, adding some confluence of support there at 277.79. So I would certainly be willing to entertain a replay or kind of a reverse engineering of this trade plan. What's up, Navy Plum? Good morning to you. Reverse engineering of this trade plan. If we can get a break back above PT1, I would certainly expect a test of the put entry level there at 280.45. You could set your stops there at 277.79. It's got a nice confluence coming up with the 200 SMA. Going to add some support right and about that area. So keep an eye on Apple to try to continue its recovery from this pullback if it can break over that 278.88 level. And then from last Thursday's live streams, we had CoreWeave. CoreWeave did give us a break to the upside, ran into PT1, struggled for a bit, looked like it wanted to break out, and then it had a big pullback there pre-market yesterday. Came right down to the key buy level here on NTS in this, overall highest, strongest buy pressure area. But again, we've got that key level that's kind of tracing that bull flag to the upside. We got one really good bounce off of that previously that took us up a good bit and ultimately landed us at PT1 from our plan. And now we're seeing a pullback, another really solid bounce back to PT1 this time, but rejecting here pre-market. A lot of this movement around these names, CoreWeave, NVIDIA, etc., is around what's going on with NVIDIA's ability to be able to export chips to China. I can't remember who said it in the chat yesterday. It might have been Hasselhoff, might have been somebody else, so my apologies if I'm not given proper credit where credit's due, but somebody quickly pointed out after the announcement that NVIDIA was going to be able to export their chips to China, that China wasn't going to play nice on that and wasn't really interested in allowing that to happen. And certainly that seems to have been the case. They've said, you know, we don't care. We're still not importing NVIDIA. We're going to figure out and make our own chips here in China. So the world starting to put some pressure on US semiconductors and GPUs by trying to come up with their own iterations of those that same tech. And then last but not least, ASML. LB's in the mix. Good to see you, LB. Finally twisted my arm enough to give us a plan on this. And upside breakout failed. Looked like it was a good one, but ultimately pulled back to the stop loss average down and then invalidated the plan. It is kind of in that same spot that we saw with CoreWeave, where we are now testing. Actually, let me check the hourly. That's only on the 15-minute. That's a little bit easier to break. Come on, NTS. There we go. No, yeah, I take that back. Could see this if it does break below the put entry, pull back to put PT1. If it does pull back to there, this could be a really good dip buy on ASML down there at 1089.82. So keep an eye on that for ASML to try to continue its bullish run and eking out new all-time highs on this one, potentially. And again, this ASML, for those who weren't kind of, or haven't been in the mix on this one, sorry, I'm trying to figure out my words here this morning. They ultimately are essentially like the monopoly on the laser printers that you use to produce semiconductors. So pretty interesting tech there. Yeah, huge moat for lithography, exactly like LB said. So they are going to continue to do well, I believe, as the world continues to rely on advanced semiconductors to be able to push tech into the future. All right, let's get to some new trade plans here this morning. Sydney wants to take a look at MSTY. Sydney, if you're cool with it, aka Ryan, you could certainly trade MSTY following the MSTR chart. So why don't we do MSTR, and then if you want to trade it as MSTY, because at least MSTR is optionable. I mean, I know MSTY does have options, but that options chain is probably pretty illiquid. That's one thing that you'll notice with those high yield dividend covered call ETFs. So let's do MSTY, and then we can use MSTY, or you can use MSTY trade plan and chart to determine how you, MSTR, you can use that to potentially figure out how you might want to trade MSTY. So let's dig into this one. I want to just take a look at price for a minute. Massive pullback here. Ultimately looks like it could be developing a big bear flag. But I have not charted levels down this low for or actually just strategy now. So let's zoom out a bit. Let's see. Here we go. All right, so let's figure out where our key levels are on this one. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Certainly want to keep that on watch. Same there. Yeah, I like that right there, actually. Just debating it a little bit. Might have two levels really close to each other on this one. Definitely looks like there should be a level here. Maybe it's just a little bit higher. Kind of tight right here, these two levels. It's pretty close to that. And that should give us plenty of at least near-term downside targets. What's up, Gardle? Good to see you. Always happy to do these, man. I enjoy it. Gives me some new trade ideas as well in the process. I tend to get focused on tickers that I trade each and every day. Or not each and every day, but just trade the most frequently. So it's good to broaden your horizons every once in a while. And I certainly get an opportunity to do that doing these live streams, so it's a win-win. Yeah, that's about what I was hoping to see there. Hmm. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go with that. Right about there. Let's see if I can find some more confirmation on that one. And that one. All right, let's check these two out real quick. Yeah, I definitely like that one. That looks pretty decent too. All right, let's see where that situates us. Let's throw NTS back on the chart. Just trying to make sure we don't have any higher time frame trend lines we need to be concerned about. There was one that MSTR was under. Looks like it was right about there, and it's slipped out from under that. So that's a good sign. All right, let's take a look at this. Let's go. All right, so what I'm thinking on this for a call entry would be over 189.97. I think we can run a pretty tight stop on this as well. I think it's in trouble if it gets over 189.97 and then can't hold 185.23 as support. Big picture, this 199.77 is what I'm looking at as a first price target, but Want to see. Yeah, that also gets out some profit right as we're getting ready to test some key selling pressure there on NTS, running up to 203.58. Momentum has shifted back to the bullish side, but looks like it's just barely holding that so far. So, but over 189.97 keeps that momentum strongly in place. We could see a pretty decent move up to this 213.01 next target. That's an interesting little area that I would expect to find some better tests of that support and resistance, but let's take a look back here. Yeah, this is going to seem kind of weird to have sort of a big move between PT1 and 2, but there's a really good chance that it rejects this 219.88 level based on the chart. So it's kind of a good move, great move, decent move as we get over PT2, but again, that's just what the chart's showing. Can't really force levels to be where they're not supposed to be. What's the so? Oh, maybe yeah, the question was for Sydney. I would also say a lot of times these names can move somewhat independent of the BTC Bitcoin price movements, especially like any kind of miners. You really have to chart those on their own because they oftentimes, as of late, seem to disconnect from the price action of Bitcoin itself. So that's one thing I'd say on those. But strategy and IBIT, both of those are probably going to be pretty heavily correlated to the price action of uh, Bitcoin. Yeah, kind of the same thing here. To the downside, it's good move, decent move as far as the reward areas that open up past PT2. I would give that downside plan, yeah, the same spot as the upside plan, to be honest. Could we tighten it up, actually? Yeah, I think we could, actually. That looks pretty good. Okay, let's lock this in. Ooh, which level is that? 177.56. Oh, wait, yeah. 151.85. All right, that all looks good. Let's get this cleaned up. All right, I think this is ready to go. And over here in the Elite chat, get our alerts set. Nope, I'm going to change this to the 1 hour. All right, we are good to go. Let's talk through this real quick. What are we looking for here on MSTR? We're looking for a break over 189.97. That should give us targets at 199.77. 213.01, so big move over PT1 possible here. And then on up to 219.88. Ultimate upside price target before we run into some key resistance there. With the stop loss average down at 185.23. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 177.56. That should bring targets at 167.25, 157.48, and 151.85, with the stop loss average down at 182.54. That looks to be holding as our pre-market high resistance. So that is your MSTR trade plan. Feel free to utilize this to trade MSTY or any strategy related tickers. All right, what do we have next? Oh, I saved it. We're good to go. Appreciate it. All right, so CC, you had a few in the mix here: XOM, COF, Triple M, 3M. Any of those that you have as a particular favorite that you want me to take a look at? All right, 3M. Yeah, I was going to say, I know I've charted 3M at some point. It's been quite a long time. Looks like it was mostly higher time frame levels. Hide that for now. All right, 3M. I'm guessing that's, yeah, all-time highs with a double top on the weekly. Not sure what that level's going to be yet, but it looks like there might be something there. We will see. This is another interesting level, but I'm not convinced yet on the weekly. All right, let's check this out. It is testing a pretty interesting support here pre-market, or tested it yesterday actually, sorry, yesterday's low. Let's see if we can make sense of these. Potential levels I had marked, like this one is yeah, I think that level's sitting more like right there. And all right, let's see where this sets us up at this point. Try to get to at least one more plan if we can. All right, let's see where that puts us. Oh yeah, I'm getting into the weeds down there. Won't need those levels for this plan. So do you see an interesting level here though? All right. What's that show us? 3M? I'm curious to see these. Well, does actually hold up. Wasn't really expecting that to. Okay, well, that tells us something. All right. I like that as a breakdown level. Stop there. PT1 here. Oh, wait. What am I doing? Let's make sure we've got all the information. Okay. Let's check this on the hourly. You know what? I take that back. This stop should be a bit tighter. Aim small, miss small. I could see some potential support showing up here, actually. Yeah, I'm gonna add one price target here. It's a pretty decent move down to PT1, then PT2. This looks like a really level of high interest. Could see buyers step in there as well at 147.89. So that gives us the... Oh, wait a second. Sorry. I feel like I'm waiting way too long if this downside's going to play out. But we do have that trend right there. Hmm. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to switch this up. Sorry. I didn't catch how far away from the current price I was setting that put entry level. So we can reverse engineer this a little bit. All right, upside. It does have a gap to fill to the upside too. That's noteworthy. It just doesn't really provide a great window of opportunity to capitalize on it. Actually, you know what? I know what we can do with this. It's been a while since we've seen a plan set up like this, but God, I don't know what this is going to do to the trade plan navigator. I may have come up with a trade that is going to throw it off a little bit. We'll see. how this what this does to the indicator. Because what I'm looking at is essentially doing a entry and then having the entry for the other side be the stop loss. That's what it's kind of looking like to me. My only other question is, and this is going to be one that I would say probably start small on, because let me show you. What am I looking for here? I think we're sitting pretty close to like 1-to-1 risk reward. Yeah, going both directions. So whenever you see that, if you're going to take a shot, keep it very small. You want to generally have risk reward skewed in your favor. Personally, I'm looking for like at least 1.3, preferably 1.5 or better. Both of these are pretty much sitting right at 1-to-1. So keep that in mind. Obviously, if we get more price targets to the downside, that changes. But generally speaking, I like to kind of assess the overall risk reward and my starting position size based on just getting to PT1, because sometimes PT1 is all we get. So let's see what this does to the indicator. I don't think I've done this since I've updated the code for it. That would be call and put stop loss. So let's see what this does. It's probably gonna look nuts. Yeah, it is. All right, we can fix that with a little manual adjustment here. So I'll just add this on the chart. So call SL average. I don't think that needs to be that big. There we go. And let's just duplicate that. That's probably the best way I can kind of fix this. So we'll change that to call entry. It's also going to do some weirdness to the alerts, but it is what it is. All right. Well, I should probably say also. All right. That works, right? Let's get this lined up, get it looking nice. All right. So here comes your 3M live stream plan. Let's get this template locked in. Yep, that all looks good. All right, so let's talk through this one last time, and then I think, yep, we're getting close to 10 minutes out from market open. Oh, excuse me. So I need to get to work on the daily SPY plan. So what are we looking for here on 3M? We're looking for a break above 165.10. That should bring targets at 167.49, 169.63, and 172.44. Remember, keep it smaller on this one would be my recommendation given the stop losses in the risk reward areas. I just want to make sure I'm not missing something here and there's not a better stop loss we can put in place. Sorry, I'm like halfway through explaining this plan and I'm like, that just seems like we should be able to come up with something a little bit tighter than that. Yeah, it could be wrong. Let's check this level out. Well, come on, give me some more data to work with here. Or is that it? That might be it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you know what? I think we can actually set a different stop on this. So let's fix this up. My bad. The more I looked at it, the more I was like, it seems like there could be something right there that would make for a better. Whoops, 163.86. There we go. So let's fix all this. And that fixes the risk reward problem as well. So let me update this template. Also get rid of that alert since we changed that. And I also need to update this plan. So here's the new chart and plan. Sorry for being wishy-washy on it. I'm going to delete this one just to not create confusion. And let's get rid of that as well. And this is the there we go. Now we can set those alerts. All right, so let's talk through this again now with better risk reward. Why does that still look wrong? That's definitely not right. Hang on. You shared a stop loss. I wonder if it's still... I might need to look at adjusting. Yeah. Gonna have to adjust my... What? Oh, shit. Yeah, there we go. Grab the wrong level there. That looks better. All right. Or I just need to remember to enter those. That's also not right, though. That's way better than 105. That's still not looking right there. Oh, that's why. Helps if I type the right levels. No, what am I doing here? Oh, I know it's messing me up because I don't have the levels on the chart. Like, why am I having such a hard time here? There we go. All right, let's get this fixed up now, once and for all. Sorry. Put myself in a little bit of a bind here. 163.86. That looks better. Okay. Now our risk reward showing correctly. All right. I'm not gonna, the plan's the most important part. I'm not gonna re-update those charts. All right, so what are we looking for here on 3M? Now that we've made those adjustments, we're looking for a break over 165.10 for targets at 167.49, 169.63, and 172.44 with a stop loss average down at 163.86. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 162.46 with targets at 159.68, 157.22, and 152.98 with a shared stop loss average down at 163.86. Those are your 3M upside and downside plans. This is Chart Talk Live for Tuesday, December 9th, brought to you by Xtrades. I hope everybody has a fantastic day. As we always say here on Chart Talk Live, plan your trades, trade your plans. Remember, we're looking for profits, not perfection. So keep those wins big, keep those losses small. I will see you all in the chats, and I'll see you back here Thursday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the dot. Until then, take care. Have a fantastic day.